You need to wake up right now and recognize who you truly are. Look inside yourself and tap into that burning desire. That led you to start on this journey in the first place. Too many people lose sight of their why and get caught up in the distractions of daily life. But not you. You were meant for more. You cannot let temporary setbacks and failures shake your resolve. So you slipped up and fell down? Big deal. That's all part of the climb. The path to success is not a smooth highway. It's a rugged mountain trail full of obstacles and challenges. You're going to get bruised. You are going to get winded. You are going to want to quit sometimes, but you cannot let that self-doubt and negativity creep in. You have to develop the grit and tenacity to push through the pain. Grit means hurting so bad, being so exhausted and tested, but still knowing you have a job to do, so you keep climbing. Pain is not a stop sign. It's a reminder that you are making progress out of your comfort zone. Lean into that discomfort. That's where the growth happens. I'm not talking to the complainers and excuse makers here. I'm talking to the person who understands that worthwhile things require real work and sacrifice. You do not get to the summit by taking the easy path of least resistance. You get there through sheer force of will and perseverance. So get up off the ground right now. Shake off that self-pity and negative self-talk bringing you down. Do not you dare quit on yourself. Look at how far you've already come. All those hours of work, all those early mornings, all those late nights, are you really going to let that all go to waste? I did not think so. You have too much invested to turn back now. This is a make or break moment. You either recommit and keep pushing with consistent discipline towards your dreams, or you let the distractions win. You settle for mediocrity and a life of regret, always wondering what if. Well, I will tell you what if. A wasted life. That's what. Do not end up being one of those sad people on their deathbed saying, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Do not carry those regrets to your grave. Empty that bucket list. Live life to the fullest in pursuit of your true purpose. But it's going to take laser focus. You cannot be distracted by shiny objects and other people's expectations. When you are climbing a mountain, you do not keep looking over at the other climbers. You keep your eyes faced forward, locked in on the peak you are ascending, one foot in front of the other, making steady progress. Those other people, they're on a different journey with different goals. Sure, you can be inspired by their work ethic and results, but you cannot be obsessed with their path because it will throw you off course. You've got to run your own race. And do not make the mistake of judging your own progress based on their timeline. We all face unique storms and setbacks that shape our journey. The only person you should be comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday. As long as you are making forward progress and becoming a better version of yourself each day, that's what matters most. Now, I'm not saying to be delusionally overconfident and ignore wise counsel from mentors. By all means, learn from those who have walked the path before you. Glean wisdom from their failures and harsh lessons so you can avoid some of those unnecessary setbacks. Having a guide can make the climb more efficient. But you also cannot be so distracted by other people's maps that you lose sight of your own desired destination. At the end of the day, you have to take full ownership and responsibility for your life's journey. No one's going to want your success and dream more than you do. So stay hungry. Have that energy and urgency of someone who wants it more than anyone else. Outwork your competition through your attitude of determination. Treat every morning like it's a gift, not something you're entitled to. Those who lack this hunger will inevitably stray off course. Yeah, I get it. Life can be exhausting with all its responsibilities and challenges. The grind never stops. You've got bills, relationship issues, health problems, and general mayhem constantly vying for your attention and drowning out your deepest dreams. But you cannot use that as an excuse to be distracted and lose focus on your vision. Building the life you want to live requires radical prioritization. You have to become a master of saying no to the non-essentials so you can go all in on your highest goals and priorities. Think about the most successful people you know. I guarantee you they did not reach their level of success through aimless wandering and letting life's pop-up distractions constantly derail them. They had a clear vision for what they wanted and relentlessly executed against it day after day, week after week, year after year. Life never gets easier or lets up. You just get better at blocking out the noise and minimizing those energy leaks. The most prolific artists, entrepreneurs, and leaders are incredibly skilled at creating boundaries and systems to maximize focus on their craft. That means pruning energy-draining relationships, technologies, and habits that do not serve your highest goals. Build a lifestyle of discipline that acts like a filter, only letting the most essential tasks and people through. Everything else gets a firm no thank you. Will this ruffle some feathers and make you unpopular with certain folks? You bet. But who cares? Those are not the people you were put on this earth to please anyway. You do not want to reach the end of your life, only to realize you spent it all satisfying others, while your own dreams gathered dust. I'm giving you permission right now to unapologetically put your vision and growth first. Make that your life's non-negotiable. Everything else is just noise. Become a bit selfish, if you will, so you have the energy and resources required to sell. Of course, this does not give you license to be an inconsiderate jerk to others, but it does mean getting very intentional about how you invest your time, talents, and earnings so you stay on track. Draw clear boundaries and hold them with respectful confidence. The right people will respect you more when they see you mean business. It's also crucial to regularly reconnect with your why and let that stoke the fires of commitment once again. You cannot run off pure discipline alone forever. There has to be a driving purpose behind it all that rejuvenates your soul when things get tough. So take some time to remember why you started this journey in the first place. What was that burning desire that made you say enough is enough and decide to go all in on your biggest dreams? What vision did you have for your ideal life? What impact did you want to make on this world? Let that reconnect you to the person you were when you were just starting out. That version of you was so hungry and unattached to past failures or perceived limitations. Your passion was a blazing bonfire, and you attacked each day with the energy and excitement of a kid again. The contagious enthusiasm is what will inspire others to get behind your vision and support you in making it a reality. People are drawn to those on fire with zeal for a worthy cause bigger than themselves. It's magnetic. So your homework is simple. Capture that fire again and tend to it daily. Let it burn so hot inside you that life's lukewarm distractions hold no appeal. You are a person meant with a purpose now, and damned if you will let temporary setbacks or naysayers deter you again. Because here's the hard truth. You are going to face doubters and detractors along the way. There will always be someone raining on your parade and telling you your dreams are silly or impossible. Misery loves company, and they will try to recruit you to a life of cynicism and small thinking. But you have to develop that inner steel, which allows the external criticism to roll off your back. Almost all great achievers in any field had to endure being laughed at or labeled crazy by small-minded people. If you have not tasted that kind of rejection yet, you are not dreaming big enough. Do not let the opinions of people who gave up on themselves long ago determine what's possible for your life. Their limiting beliefs do not have to be your reality. Instead, develop strong mental discipline and control over your self-talk, because no one can distract you or cause you to lose focus quite like your own inner negative narrator. Learning to catch and eliminate those unhelpful thoughts is a game changer. It's amazing how this little voice in our head can make giants out of molehills. and turn small failures into the entire movie about our lives being one big disappointment. One minute you are cruising ahead feeling good, but then that cruel narrator chimes in and reminds you of every past screw-up and reasons you're not enough. Well, I have got news for you. That narrator is a liar. It's time to show it the door and reclaim control of your mind. Because whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you are absolutely right. Your beliefs create your reality in so many ways. So when those gremlins of doubt and anxiety show up, recognize them for what they are: unhelpful suggestions trying to sabotage your progress. Then pivot intentionally back to your purpose, capabilities, and all have going for you that mental discipline is a muscle that gets stronger through repetition. No more telling yourself you are a failure or not cut out for this journey. Those are lies from the pit of hell. Start speaking power and possibility over your life instead, because that's what you will inevitably gravitate towards. Either the negative limits you allow or the boundless opportunity available to you. And do not just think it, ink it. Write out your goals and read them daily to reprogram your mindset for success. There's power in taking those whispers of ambition and making them tangible promises to yourself in ink. Plaster that stuff all over the place as a reminder of where you are headed, so you do not get distracted and veer off course. Let those dreams and goals stare you in the face each morning, daring you to live up to them. Accept that dare, and then chase hard after them. It will change the whole trajectory of your life. Because here's the reality. If you do not blaze your own trail through concentrated effort on your dreams, you will simply follow the path most traveled. And where does that lead? To a life of complacency, mediocrity, and settling for crumbs. As Les Brown says, a disturbed mind cannot be at rest until it accomplishes something. That applies to all of us at some level. We have these desires within us that were placed there by design, tugging at our souls to reach a higher plane of living and contribution. For some of you, it's the desire to be an example of change and human flourishing for your families, breaking generational cycles of poverty, addiction, abuse, or other baggage. You are sick of the status quo and you desperately want to leave a better legacy for those coming behind. For others, it's the desire to use your gifts and ideas to revolutionize an industry or create something world-changing. You cannot shake this nagging feeling that you were put on this planet for more than just going through mundane motions. And for some of you, the burning desire is much more personal and internal. It's simply wanting to finally like the person you see in the mirror again, to cultivate self-respect, and shut the door on regret by honoring your fullest potential in this one life. Whatever that deeper why is for you, let it be the anchor and compass that guides your daily focus. And stay grateful for that gift of desire, because it separates you from those drifting aimlessly without a North Star. Some people sadly lose touch with their sense of curiosity and childlike wonder. Dreams calcify when left unexplored, and they end up just sleepwalking through life towards an unfulfilling ending. Do not let that be you. Do not let life's distractions and inevitable setbacks rob you of the passion and purpose that makes you so delightfully, vibrantly human. Fight daily to wake up to that sense of amazement at the gift of life again. Get radically present and intentional about how you invest each breath into the few days you have left. Be a wide-eyed explorer, seeing the adventure and opportunity present in the mundane. That's what will get you through the marathon. Not hype or motivation that wears off, but a peaceful, steady sense of purpose that transcends daily fluctuations and anchors you to the highest version of yourself. So let's get to it, shall we? As I tell my grandkids, it's time to make some get up and go. Recommit daily to the dreams you were put on this earth to pursue. And do not just blindly chase arbitrary goals for the sake of stroking your ego. Make sure your vision has an eternal impact that touches lives beyond your own. The world is starving for people of true character and courage, who stay the course on their worthy ambitions no matter what gets thrown at them. Let's you and I be those rare souls who finish strong and resist every distraction that tries to divert us. What do you say? Are you ready to get focused again and run hard after your vision with that same sense of hunger you started with? Can you reignite that fire and let it be the bright light that guides you through any darkness or setback up ahead? Then let's get to work. Make the decision to stay the course no matter how long the journey gets. Because I promise you, if you can discipline yourself to consistently put in the work day after day, week after week, year after year, not worrying about any time frames or outside opinions, you will be utterly unstoppable. Do not coast or relax until you have crossed that final finish line. Leave it all out on the field in pursuit of your greatness. And once you've reached the summit you were climbing towards, I have a feeling you will look out and see a whole new vista of possibility opening up before you. But you will never glimpse that view if you stay stuck in the distractions and valley of mediocrity. So get moved. The treasures of the universe are waiting to be unleashed through your committed efforts. Now let's go claim them. The path ahead will not be easy, but nothing worth achieving ever is. There will be times when you question everything, your goals, your abilities, whether all this struggle is even worth it in the end. But those are the moments that will define you and determine just how far you are willing to go for your dreams. In those dark hours, you have to train yourself to peer beyond the present circumstances and tap into a greater reserve of faith and perseverance. There is a strength lying dormant within you, ready to be unleashed if you just learn to access it at will. Too many people let temporary setbacks and failures cause them to completely abandon the quest. They interpret each rejection or closed door as a cosmic sign that it's simply not meant to be. What nonsense! Since when do you let the universe decide your fate for you? The great achievers are the ones who stubbornly refuse to be deterred no matter. How many times life knocked them down? They had an unwavering belief in their vision and backing it up with persistent action until it became a reality. There's a reason why the words perseverance and resilience are repeatedly used to describe the most successful people. You are going to have to develop that same sort of bolder, solid mindset if you want to see your biggest ambitions realized. A psychological toughness and ability to simply outlast and outwork the obstacles in your path. The cliche is true. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. So program the fighter's mentality into your psyche right now. This pursuit you've chosen, it's not just something cute to try on for size before moving on to the next hobby. No, this is life or death for you now. You have to approach it with that level of intense commitment and refusal to ever surrender. That does not mean being arrogant or adopting a hostile, overly aggressive demeanor. Quite the opposite. You want to operate with a focused stillness and tranquility under pressure. Think of a samurai warrior who is soft-spoken and humble, yet possesses a resolve that is utterly unshakable when attacked. No amount of trash talk, intimidation tactics, or doubters can penetrate that inner core of determination, because you have made the unbreakable decision in your heart long ago about who you are and what's required to get where you're going. So while the path will get rocky, your spirit can remain at peace and undisturbed because you've anchored yourself to a deeper why already. It's almost like developing a protective coating of Kevlar around your soul through clear conviction. When the inevitable storms of negativity and distraction arise, you are like an immovable rock amidst crashing waves because you have done the inner work to steel your resolve. Those storms will still come, but they just wash around and over you without shaking your foundations. That's the level of mindset mastery you want to cultivate through disciplined mental training day after day. It's one of the most practical, albeit rarely discussed, forms of wealth to pursue. Financial and material wealth mean little without first possessing the psychological fortitude and clarity it takes to acquire and sustain them properly. Most people are insolvent in the area of mindset. They are bankrupt in perspective, allowing fears and limiting assumptions to dominate their mental real estate unchecked. Before long, those squatting mental tenants of doubt and insecurity become the majority owners. And we wonder why we cannot seem to take our lives to that next level. Well, it's high time to do some psychological urban renewal and renovate the mental spaces you have allowed to fall into disrepair over the years. You must become highly intentional about evicting those toxic mindsets, setting up camp on your dreams. Declare spiritual and psychological bankruptcy on the negativity. Then rebuild from the ground up with healthier, more empowering beliefs. And let me give you a huge psychological head start. Gratitude needs to be one of the foundational mindsets you cement into place. It's the antidote to distraction, discontentment, and pretty much every other mental block that wants to slow your progress. A grateful person cannot be conquered because they approach life with a celebratory spirit rather than a sense of entitlement or lack. They focus on the abstract and intangible gifts all around them rather than being preoccupied with material possessions. Things like the priceless gift of life itself, the miracle of senses to experience this world, freedom to pursue their dreams, and being part of something bigger than themselves. But that abundance mindset pervading their psychology, no temporary setback or distraction can throw them off course for long. They are able to pivot quickly, learn the lessons, and keep it moving with urgency because they're so cognizant of the bigger picture. But an ungrateful person gets easily distracted by each trivial issue that arises. They lose their cool and presence of mind over small stuff because they have a scarcity mindset where nothing is ever enough. Which person would you rather be in the arena? Going to battle against the inevitable obstacles and distractions of life? I think the answer is clear. Stay rooted in gratitude as your foundation, and you will be battle ready for anything that tries to impede progress. So make it a daily practice to inventory all the priceless gifts around you that money cannot buy. Your health, your mind, your loved ones, your talents and opportunities. Let a profound sense of awe and appreciation for those blessings become the lens through which you view the world. When you wake up in the morning, you will immediately be overcome with thankfulness that you get another day on this earth to chase your dreams rather than being annoyed about having to get out of bed. You're passionate and childlike. Wonder will be rekindled each morning. And when inevitable setbacks or roadblocks arise throughout the day, you will be able to approach them with a calm, level head rather than rage or self-pity. You will look for lessons and recalibrate accordingly because you know it's all part of the journey you are grateful to be on. That abiding gratitude and humility will sustain your motivation and keep you focused through the most distracting and trying periods because you will maintain proper perspective on how good you actually have it compared to so many around the world just struggling to survive each day. So hold on tightly to that attitude of gratitude no matter how successful you become along the way. Never let accomplishments cause you to become arrogant or lose touch with the priceless gifts you have been given freely. That's how to stay forever grounded and resistant to distraction. And you're going to need to stay profoundly grounded in times ahead because I can promise you the noise and intensity is only going to increase as your star rises higher. Get ready for more outside voices and opinions wanting to divert you from your path as you gain more influence. The brighter your light shines, the more it will also attract smaller-minded people who want to contain or extinguish it out of their own sense of insecurity. They will try to introduce doubts, gossip, or petty dramas to fracture your focus with the distraction. Do not take the bait. The higher you ascend, the thicker your skin will need to become to tune out the nattering nabobs of negativity that they want to see you fail. Do not mistake their attacks and attempts to distract you as a sign that you are off course it usually means the exact opposite, that you are being effective and growing in influence. The ancient wisdom applies. No one throws stones at a tree without fruit. If you are not getting any flack from the sidelines, that might actually mean you are not swinging hard enough or courting the type of change that provokes people's insecurities. So view the heckling from the peanut galleries as almost a twisted badge of honor. It means you are outgrowing and transcending the small thinking of the crowd around you, but it also thrusts a greater burden of focus and single-mindedness upon you so you do not get mired in their distractions. At this level, it's going to take complete mastery over your schedule, environment, and inputs to maintain pristine focus on your highest aims. You may even need to make some difficult decisions around people and situations that threaten to hijack your time and energy if you stay entangled with them. I know that's not easy because we all have deep bonds and histories with certain friends, family members, and contexts. But at some point, you are going to have to be brutally honest about what relationships are distracting you and dragging you down. It's just math. You have finite resources of time and energy each day to invest in your most important work. So the more of those precious resources you leak into time vampires and external noise, the less you will have left to achieve your true priorities. You simply have to become a master at policing the boundaries and pruning out relentless distractions from your life, even when it's uncomfortable. This is not always a one-time decision either, but rather an ongoing process of discernment and elimination as you level up. Certain contexts and circles that were fine at a previous stage of life and focus will suddenly become obstacles as you expand in ways they cannot understand or validate. That transition is always rough because we instinctively want to take our entire fallen world along with us into the promised land of our dreams. But just like the Israelites wandering 40 years in the desert, most will not make that final trek with you and will instead roam the wilderness of mediocrity. At some point, you have to make the painful decision to leave that old mindset and comfort zone behind so you can finally lay hold of all that's waiting for you up ahead. It may cost you some relationships if they insist on trying to distract you or convince you to come back down the mountain with them. As cold as it sounds, you cannot allow even formally positive influences to hinder your climb if they have outgrown their ability to understand your vision. Sometimes the most spiritual thing to do is love them enough to leave them behind while you carry out the sacred duty of actualizing your fullest life. Difficult as that decision may be, it's the price of admission for the level of impact and freedom you crave, because the path to true mastery in any domain requires relentless consistency during those critical years of putting in the work. Even the smallest distraction during that ascent process, if not nipped in the bud immediately, can snowball into taking you completely off course. So I'll become a savage editor and curator of what and who gets time and mental real estate in your sphere. Be sure to surround yourself with people who not only understand your ambitions, but can match your intensity about working towards them. You need that kind of powerful peer group to counteract the negativity that may come at you. And be deeply grateful for those rare, supportive champions who arise along your journey. Do not take them for granted, but stay intentional about appreciating and reciprocating their friendship. Those kinds of bonds will be one of your most vital, sustaining forces when the noise gets loud. By the same token, keep a close inner circle of mentors and advisors who can speak wisdom and clarity into your most vital decisions. Make sure it's people of spiritual and emotional maturity you respect, not just more noise merchants, and be prepared to compensate them well for their time. Good counsel is priceless. Finally, understand that all this focus and intensity towards your mission is not some temporary phase, but must become a way of life going forward. Like John Maxwell says, successful and unsuccessful people do not vary greatly in their abilities. They vary in their desires to reach their potential. That desire to maximize every drop of potential you've been given has to burn white hot through every season and phase, never wavering. Too many people get bored or complacent after achieving some level of success, and then slowly get distracted back into an old mindset of mediocrity. Let me warn you in advance. Getting to the next level is always harder than the one before it. Just when you think you've finally made it and can ease up a bit, a whole new series of challenges and distractions present themselves to knock you off course. If you want to be one of the rare ones who shatters through plateaus rather than getting stuck, it's going to take developing an infinite mindset. Stay ridiculously hungry and unsatisfied with current achievements like they're nothing. Let each win just add fuel to your insatiable fire for greater growth. In the end, this all comes back full circle to daily habits and routines that act as fortresses securing your focus against outside noise and internal weakness. You have to develop a series of practices that facilitate peak mental, physical, and spiritual stamina. What are the morning mindsets and rituals that ignite your passion from the start of each day? What inputs and environments inspire you to stay zoned in on the bigger vision? What habits are you forming around personal mastery, self-care, and replenishing your energy reserves? These processes of sustained energy and motivation do not happen by accident. But the good news is they can be systematized through diligent personal work to become literally unstoppable forces in your life. It just takes deciding you are sick of being derailed and doubling down on those daily routines until they're unbreakable. I could go on, but I trust you are beginning to get the full picture here. This journey of honoring your life's deepest purpose and avoiding distraction is not something you casually embark upon one day. It's an entire identity shift and way of being that must be fought for daily. The great ones throughout history understood this reality and made the uncompromising commitment to live by a code. Not just the code of ethics and integrity we're all familiar with, but an even deeper code ruling all of their habits, routines, mindsets, and actions. It's what enabled them to produce at world-class levels and resist becoming an insignificant statistic like most. So this final charge, live by your own unbreakable code from this day forward if you want to accomplish unbreakable things. Establish your personal code of focus, commitment, service, and all the indelible traits required to see your visions to completion. Let nothing compromise that sacred code or derail you from its honorable execution. Will it be easy or popular at times to live at such heightened intensity? Not at all. You will take flack, experience doubts, and want to give up many times along the way. That's why having an ironclad code to hold yourself to is essential. It becomes the compelling moral force urging you onward when motivation runs dry. So go craft your code with precision and solemnity over these next days and weeks. Decide what lines you will never cross and what standards you will always uphold no matter. How strong the temptation to compromise. Encode that into your character's operating system. And watch how it upgrades every other aspect of your life. Then once that's done, simply walk in obedience to that code each day, no matter how large or small the task before you seems, whether giving a keynote address or taking out the trash. Do it all with the same level of excellence and commitment your code demands. No distraction or shortcut is worth breaching that sacred identity. And finally, pass that code on as the greatest legacy you can leave to your children and generations after you. Inspire them to take up the mantle of that same unwavering focus and become modern-day warriors of achievement in their own rights. If we can get a small army of people operating at this heightened level of intentionality and discipline about pursuing their highest ambitions, I have no doubt you could change the world several times over before our work is done. So focus up, simplify, and get started encoding your new way of being today. The world is waiting for the greatness you were born to unleash upon it. Just do not let the noise and pretty distractions out there any longer delay your arrival on that scene. It's time to make your resounding mark once and for all.